Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Belsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show. And I'm at a car dealership getting my car worked on. So we're going to watch, it's going to be pressed for time, so we're going to watch films from the Prelinger archive that are about time. I will be back live tomorrow on Friday. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Thanks.
According to legend, the game of chess was invented in India by a brilliant mathematician as a gift to his Maharaja.
I win. You must allow me to give you a reward for inventing this game. Anything? There is nothing I wouldn't give you. I command you.
Your Highness, if you insist, give me but 1 grain of wheat to put on the first square.
Is that all?
I also wish 2 grains on the second square, 4 grains on the third, 16 grains on the fourth, and so, by multiplying each new number by itself, give me enough wheat for all 64 squares.
Wheat?
So the counting began, with 1 grain of wheat for the first square, 2 for the second, 4 for the third, 16 for the fourth, 256 for the fifth, 64,536 for the sixth. In no time at all, the first basket of wheat was empty. In fact, the number of grains needed for each succeeding square increased so rapidly that by the 10th square, the number of grains was up in the hundreds of millions. By the 20th square, the Maharaja realized even his vast fields of wheat couldn't supply the necessary grain. What he didn't realize was that the mathematician had set up what is called a geometric progression. To cover all 64 squares of the chessboard would require the entire world's production of wheat for the next 2,000 years. The mathematician knew that what he'd asked for was impossible, but according to legend, he never had a chance to explain it.
According to one theory, at 0 time, the universe began with a tremendous explosion. A huge mass of high-energy gases was shattered violently. And a billion zillion particles went screaming off into the void. Hundreds of millions of years later, these ever-expanding clouds of gas and dust particles formed whirlpools, ever condensing, ever contracting. These compacted particles formed into a star. which in turn gathered together with other stars into the huge swirling galaxies we see today. In these galaxies, stars are continuously formed, grow old, and die. Some with solar systems, some without. Our sun is a star with a solar system of 9 orbiting planets. Closest to the sun is Mercury, then Venus. Earth is third, at a distance of 93 million miles from the sun. Then comes Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and finally Pluto, over 3 billion miles away from the sun. These 9 planets, their moons and asteroids, will continue in orbit for billions of years to come. And probably long after our sun star burns itself out. What happens then is theoretical. Certainly the universe will continue. Some say it will continue to expand infinitely. Others theorize the reverse will happen, that galaxies will slow down. And finally stop. And the slow pull of gravity from the center of the universe will cause them to contract. Until finally, the galaxies become so intensely concentrated that in that instant in time, zero time, they explode again. And other stars and other galaxies will be born anew, and other Earths and other beings will evolve again, 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 again.
This is San Francisco, the city which inspired Frank Norris to write, "There are but 3 story cities in the United States, New York, New Orleans, and San Francisco." Here is what a motion picture camera recorded while traveling down Market Street in 1905, almost half a century ago, and just a few months before nature kicked up her heels and sent an earthquake rumbling destructively through the city in the early morning hours of April 18th, 1906. But when these pictures were taken on this Saturday afternoon in the fall of 1905, San Francisco had no warning of the disaster that soon would turn these buildings into rubble heaps and these car tracks and cable slots into twisted bits of iron and steel. San Francisco was going about its business, a leisurely business when compared with that of today. Automobiles were still new and scarce. Small boys yelled at them, "Get a horse." They dotted in and out between horse-drawn wagons and buggies with a fringe on top. Traffic rules meant nothing, and traffic cops, well, they were something for the future. People jumped like scared rabbits, made wild dashes between horses and motor cars, seeking the shelter of safety stations. Yes, that's one thing Market Street did have in 1905, safety stations. And speaking of traffic safety, what a field day one of our present traffic officers would have with these jaywalkers. Here we are at 4th Street, and here is the first glimpse of a trolley car, the old Ellis and 4th Street line. No, that's not a Keystone Cop coming across from the left. That's one of San Francisco's finest, helmet and all. Crossing Market Street was a perilous adventure in those days, but apparently horses bore charmed lives. Hey, look, moving pictures. Even then, seeing movies being made was just as much of an attraction as it is now. Say, you in that fancy automobile, quit circling in front of the camera. Just as Jimmy Durante says, everybody wants to get into the act. Here's a familiar corner we're coming to, 3rd and Market. On the right, with 2 marble columns in front of it, is the old Call Building, later renamed the Klaus Spreckels Building, and now the Central Tower. Across the street on the right stands the Examiner Building. Instead of buses, they had lavishly furnished sightseeing trolley cars in those days, and here's one of them, crossing Market Street into Kearny. Men's headgear, you'll notice, ran to derbies. That building on the right is the old Palace Hotel, its upper floors projecting like a canopy over the sidewalk. Hey, look out, mister. You're driving up the wrong side of the street. Well, so what? Here at Montgomery Street was the famous Grand Hotel opposite the Palace. That must be Lady Godiva's white horse. It couldn't be Hopalong Cassidy's. Look out, young fella. That chug wagon just missed you. Looked like he's going back for another try. This lad must have been in training for the 100-yard dash. Cobblestone pavements made riding pretty rough and bumpy, but cobblestones were the favorite paving material of San Francisco in that era. Very few streets were as smooth as they are today. And to the old dump wagons and heavy drays, the paving made little difference. Hello, there's a covered wagon, but we don't see any Indians. In 1905, Lower Market Street bore little resemblance to that street as it looks now. None of the buildings seen here survived the fire, which raced through the city almost before the trembling earth had ceased its convulsions. Of the 5 cable car lines which fed into Market Street, each had its cars painted a distinctive color. Haight Street cars were dark red, Castro, gray, Hayes, green, McAllister, yellow, and Valencia, blue. Stealing rides on wagons and other horse-drawn vehicles was exciting fun that few kids of today get a chance to enjoy. Turn your eyes to the left. We are approaching the intersection of California Street, and in a moment you will see a real relic of old San Francisco, a horse car. There's one on its way back from the ferry building. And there's another, just turning into Market from California Street. That was speed for you, all of 4 miles an hour. But you really got where you were going. And who was in a hurry anyway? There's that nosy automobile again, still determined to get into the act, even at the end of the line. And it is truly the end of the line on this journey to a city that was. A city loved for its beauty, its color, and its romance. San Francisco. But now let us pull aside the curtain of yesteryear once again, this time to that fateful day of April 18th, 1906. All of these scenes, one must remember, were filmed almost half a century ago, a time when motion pictures were truly in their infancy. Like a picture of some war-ravaged city of Europe is this actual scene of a San Francisco street as the embers of the great fire of 1906 were beginning to cool. No one expressed the feelings of San Franciscans better than Larry Harris when he wrote these now famous lines. Put me somewhere west of East Street, where there's nothing left but dust, where the lads are all a-bustlin' and where everything's gone bust, where the buildings that are standing sort of blink and blindly stare at the damnedest, finest ruins ever gazed on anywhere. Now, nearly half a century later, from the crest of Twin Peaks, we see what has risen out of those damnedest, finest ruins, a new city of beauty and renown. With world-famous bridges, the San Francisco-Oakland span and the Golden Gate Bridge. They were hardly dreamed of when those Market Street scenes were filmed in 1905. Down that same Market Street we travel once again. The passing years have made many outward changes, yet the San Francisco of old retains her gay and indestructible spirit, her charm and her individuality. We are following exactly the same route on the same kind of transportation as the camera crew which nearly half a century ago filmed those pre-earthquake scenes in 1905. Remember those automobiles that played Ring Around the Rosie? Well, you don't see any of these modern cars daring that stunt. If they did, their drivers would wind up in the psychopathic ward or worse. Streetcars are still rumbling along the main stem, but no cable cars. Today, they're electric. Gone also are the horse cars. In their stead, in those outer lanes, are the up-to-the-minute trolley buses. The slow, plodding drays no longer rumble over cobbled streets. Horses are conspicuous by their absence. People go their various ways, the same as they did in the San Francisco of old, but not as leisurely nor as carefree. This is an age of speed, and the urge to get somewhere in a hurry is evident everywhere. Yes, time has moved on, and so has San Francisco. Most of the buildings are different, and so are people's clothes. Where once ferry boats dotted the bay, 2 world-famous bridges now handle transportation in and out of the city. Much of the old charm has disappeared to make way for modern progress. Some of San Francisco's quaintness has vanished with the years, as has some of its tolerance. Those bizarre characters of the past, such as Emperor Norton, to whom the people bowed with amused, make-believe subjection, no longer would be encouraged and tolerated. The present era is too realistic, and who knows, perhaps too materialistic. The one link with the past that stands virtually unchanged is the ferry building. Its tall clock tower still greets the returning traveler, a reminder always that spirit, gaiety, and charm are still San Francisco's heritage.
And that's what happened on the last day of my vacation. Hey, you know I could have drowned.
I'll say you could.
Boy, if those were my kids, would I straighten them out.
Here they were?
No, they were going so fast nobody could see who they were.
Yeah, that's the way it always goes.
You know, sometimes I think the safest place you can be is right here in this plant.
Hi, fellas.
Oh, hello there. Want a little room?
Yeah, thanks. Good day, huh?
Yeah.
I think you've got something there. Come to think of it, we make it our business to be safe. You never see a guy driving a company truck recklessly or carelessly around here. Or the very least they'd get is calling the carpet. You'd think that any guy who'd take a chance with an electrical tool that wasn't grounded was a nut, wouldn't you? You don't see anybody in the plant using a power saw without the guard. I believe we are safer here in the plant.
What's the matter? You fellas getting to be old fogies? Of course, nobody wants to get clobbered, but all life is a gamble. What's the use of living if you don't take a few chances?
I don't know, Fred. Seems to me that those who take chances don't live very long.
Ah.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Ellen, let's get this ground clip attached. And some shoes on. Hey, Danny, keep your hands away from that thing. Nice job of parking, honey.
I can't understand it. The whole family. Why do we all live so dangerously? Is it just ignorance? It's a wonder we haven't all killed ourselves. You know, somehow we have to have safety everywhere all the time.
And by the way, you should appreciate still having two hands after what you did with that power mower this afternoon. If I ever catch you getting your hands and fingers around those whirling blades again, your name is going to be Mud.
Yeah, I guess maybe you're right, Dad. Just nuts, that's all.
Okay, Danny.
But Danny's got the right idea. Water skiing and keeping cool all day. What a life.
Yep, skied most of the day yesterday. Boy, it was wonderful. Hardly a soul on the lake in the morning. Just beautiful. And I had the motor open all the way. Why, Johnny Fisher practically flew behind the boat.
Were you the only water skiers out yesterday morning? About what time did you start out?
I don't know exactly. It was bright and early. Practically no one else was out in the water. Why? What's up, Dad? Something the matter?
Were you on Wolf Lake?
Why, sure, Dad. That's where our boat is, isn't it?
Can't I trust you to do anything right? Don't you use your head?
What's the matter?
What's the matter? What's the matter? Why, this boy almost killed a man yesterday. He almost drowned one of my friends.
No.
Oh, come off it. That's silly.
Silly? Is that what you call it, son, when a man almost drowns because of the careless action of a couple of kids?
Oh, come on now. That's a pretty serious charge. What are you talking about?
Jane, you know George Kraft down at the plant. Well, George, did you see anyone fishing?
No. Wait, there was some fellow down at Hoffman's Pier, but he wasn't bothering anyone.
Bothering anyone? Of course he wasn't bothering anyone. He was just minding his own business, fishing, until he was swamped by a couple of crazy kids.
Hey, that's right.
Johnny Fisher thought we came pretty close. Gee, I hope we didn't hurt him.
Yeah, only by the grace of the good Lord. No thanks to you or your equally thoughtless friend Johnny Fisher.
Oh, Dad, Mr. Kraft came out all right, didn't he? The boat didn't get one bit hurt. Why make a big deal out of it?
Big deal, is it? Well, I'll tell you what the deal is. You're just not going to use that boat at all for the next 10 days. The way you mishandled the thing, the poor judgment you used.
Oh, Dad.
Yes, sir, at least 10 days.
What do you want, Mike? A big sign in our living room that lists the number of accident-free days we've had?
What's so bad about keeping track of the number of days that have gone by without injury? Perhaps a little daily effort would help a woman to remain a wife and avoid being a widow. A reminder of the number of days that have gone by without an injury might help prevent an accident that cost the life of a friend and that ruined the car. Take the chance out of a potentially hazardous routine. Many people fail to see the family teamwork that makes safety a family effort.
Hey, Fred.
Oh, hi, Danny.
Hi there.
Helen. How are you? Good to see you both.
Wasn't that something, boy?
Oh, say, they were swinging, weren't they? Can you imagine that bunch on water skis? Oh, I'm sorry, Danny. I heard about Mike taking the boat away from you for 10 days, but, you know, when you get a little older, you just get a little more careful.
Oh, Fred.
That's all right, kid. You can use my boat, my motor.
Fred, do you think you ought to? Dad might...
Terrific. Gee, thanks, Fred.
Nothing to it. I'm glad to do it for you, you know. Maybe the old man will give us a little trouble, but you never know, do you?
Safety. Everywhere. All the time.
Oh, gosh. Can the days ever get long here? How's Helen?
Helen's fine.
How's Fred?
Fred's fine, too. As a matter of fact, I think he's even a little smart.
Yeah, I know. I think maybe I'm even a little smarter, too. You know something, Dad? I know now why he got so mad. Now I'm beginning to understand. Safety has to be a family effort. Everyone sort of watching out for the rest of the family. I tell you, Dad, you can really learn a lot just laying around in a hospital bed.
It's the hard way. It's really the hard way. You see, the big question is...
Down at the plant, at home, too?
How about this one? Hey, where's Mom?
I don't know.
Mom? Yes, I'm here in the kitchen. Just wait there. I'll be right in.
Oh, there...
I'm really not very much of an artist, but I've been working very hard. Safety everywhere. All the time. At home, on the road, at play, at work. You see, I love my family, and I want them to be, well, okay all the time. As a first step toward organizing our home for safety, I borrowed an idea from the plant and rigged up this chart.
Mom, you're a gone artist.
It's terrific.
Safety. Everywhere, all the time.
You like?
I like.
things you own, the one you look at most often is your watch. It is your most intimate personal possession, almost an intrinsic part of you. You depend upon its accuracy to apportion the precious moments of each day. All over the world, a fine watch is prized for usefulness and beauty. The watch he wears tells you much about the sort of man who owns it. You expect a good watch to be rugged and trouble-free, even under the most difficult conditions. And you know that a watch as beautiful and as precise as this will always be in fashion. But once upon a time, nobody cared about hours and minutes. In those days, the clock was the stomach. Hungry? It's time to eat. Later, when life got more complicated and people were expected home in time for supper, some forgotten genius noted that the shadow of a stick grew longer toward evening. This simple device got fancier. The obelisk was used by Egyptian priests 3,000 years ago to divide the day into parts. They called their obelisk the finger of the great god Ra, and Ra's finger worked pretty well in Egypt, where the sun shines almost every day. But what about cloudy days or night? Another early inventor, seeing that a leaky bowl would always empty at the same speed, went into business making leaky bowls with markings to indicate the passage of time. Various gadgeteers improved on this device called the clepsydra, from the Greek word meaning water thief. Eventually, gearing was incorporated in the water clock, and this kind of device was used in the Roman Senate to limit debate. Aqua finita est. Translation, your water has run out. The debate strictly limited by the time it took for the water to flow out of the clepsydra bowl. But this elegant mechanism was no more reliable than the intentions of a crooked Roman politician. A little dirt in the works could regulate the clepsydra, so the honorable senator would be able to do justice to his subject with a few thousand more well-chosen words.
Me honestissime collegae de foro moendo ex media orbis, accident ut mihi vicem to jugera sint.
Perhaps this was not the first time the clepsydra had been adjusted. Later on, across the world in old China, the equipment for telling time indoors took a different form, the fire clock. This handsome device had a standard of accuracy that also left something to be desired, yet it was considered a useful ornament in the palace of a Chinese emperor. The principle was simple. A stick of slowly burning joss eventually burned through thread holding the bronze spheres. The summons of this early alarm clock evoked the same reaction then as it draws today. But the emperor had one advantage over most of us, a harem of beautiful girls to bring him his clothes, his crown, and his cup of tea in the morning. Made it almost worthwhile to fire up the old alarm clock way back there in ancient China. Another, even more popular timekeeper was the sand glass. It was portable, it wouldn't freeze or flicker out, but it still required too much attention. If you forgot to turn it over the instant the sand ran out, you lost all track of time, and anything could happen. For hundreds of years, civilization depended on the hourglass, the clepsydra, the fire clock, and the sundial to measure the passage of time. The concept of hours first appeared on the sundials of the Middle Ages. But sundials, though they were accurate, had one obvious major disadvantage. no sun, no time. Somebody ought to do something about this. In Orvieto, in Italy, in 1351, somebody did something about it. No citizen of the city of Orvieto had to depend upon a cloudless sky to know the hour. In a tower near the cathedral, a magical machine had been built to mark the hours by ringing bells. The swinging balance, called the folio, which controlled the speed, was the secret of this wizardly mechanism. Eventually, each major town in Europe had a tower clock. Now the clock had a face and hands, and the hands were really hands. The pace of life was quickening. More and more people needed to be at certain places at specific times. The elements of earlier timekeepers were incorporated in the Baron clock, which has been putting on a good show for over 400 years. Ingenuity and pride of craftsmanship distinguish these historic timepieces. These early tower clocks worked so hard that repairs were frequently required. The delicate adjustments done by the local blacksmith who had built the clock on the spot. The town clock ran by muscle power. Cranked by hand, a huge weight was lifted slowly up the tower. The stored energy would be paid out bit by bit through this train of hand-filed gears. The art of timekeeping advanced through the work of men like Peter Henlein of Nuremberg. An early clockmaker was also a blacksmith, an armorer, and a locksmith, a precision mechanic of his time. Such a man was Peter Henlein, who was credited with having first used the coiled spring in clockwork about the year 1510. Early locks often used this kind of spring. Henlein's great idea was that the spring could be used to store power just as weights had done. This important invention made possible the first portable clock, entirely self-contained, with no dangling weights. A timepiece like this was a gift fit for a king. The spring-driven table clock was a big technical breakthrough, and within a few years, the first true pocket clock appeared. This was the famous Nuremberg egg. The science of watchmaking being what it was in the 16th century, the proud owner should have been pleased if his splendid, expensive watch kept time within a couple of hours a day. The problem was that this folio balance worked fine in a stationary clock, but in a portable timepiece it changed speed each time the watch changed position. So when in doubt, which must have been frequently, it was customary to check your watch with a pocket sundial, if the sun were shining. Men's vests still have two pockets, one for the watch and one for the sundial, even today. It is said that the solution to the problem of making an accurate portable timepiece came by accident to that same remarkable Peter Henlein of Nuremberg. The pig's bristle, acquired by Henlein at considerable price, turned out to be a bargain. The idea occurred to him that this hair could be used to restrain the uncontrolled motion of the folio balance, to make it run more evenly. But this watch still had a sundial, just in case. The pig's hair was the forerunner of this early hairspring, which evolved in the 18th century to an appearance very much like the hairspring of today. last it was possible to make a watch that was not only beautiful but also usefully accurate. The watch was an envied possession, reserved by its high cost to the rich and the powerful. Eventually, it was possible to make a watch small enough to be worn on the wrist. This was the first true wristwatch. 150 years ago, only personages of unlimited wealth could afford to commission such a magnificent watch made by the celebrated Nito, jeweler to the court of Napoleon Bonaparte and the Empress Josephine. Josephine, who spent half the revenue of the French state on her jewels, had ordered this watch as a wedding gift to her son's bride, the Princess Auguste Amélie of Lichtenberg. Thus began the custom of the presentation of a beautiful wristwatch as the important, the perfect gift. Not so long ago, a wristwatch was a luxury for royalty. Now, with modern production technology, the fine watch you can afford is more accurate and more dependable than the watch once treasured by the Empress Josephine. What is a watch, and what goes on inside it? Let's take the back off with this special key and get a jeweler's eye view of a watch. A modern watch may seem complicated at first glance, but if you compare it to a car, it has a chassis, which is this precisely machined metal piece called the plate. And it has a motor, a powerful coiled spring in this container called the barrel. The motor goes here on the plate. And now, for clarity, let's make the plate transparent. Next comes the transmission, this train of gears. Now comes the jeweled lever and escapement, the speed control. Bridges hold the tops of the shafts in alignment. And in the truly modern watch, we add a self-winding device. Here, the movement of a ball-bearing mounted rotor winds the main spring. The heart of a watch is the escapement. If you wind a watch without an escapement, in a precision watch, the escapement is jeweled throughout. The ends of this lever and the bearings, the parts subject to the most friction, are made of incredibly hard rubies. The jewels protect the movement from wear. The jeweled escapement is one of the distinguishing features of a quality watch. A watch without a jeweled escapement will tick for a while, but with metal scraping on metal, it will soon wear out. The secret of timekeeping precision is the accuracy and regularity with which the energy from the motor is transmitted to the hands. Only a fine watch, well designed and made with great care, can do this exacting job. Everything the word quality means is symbolized by a good watch, and there is obviously no cheap way to make a quality watch. The making of a precision watch requires some of the most sophisticated machinery in the world. This automatic plate mill carves the plate from a thick metal disc, every dimension held to an accuracy of better than a 20th the thickness of a single hair. But it takes the skill and experience of technicians, watchmaking engineers, and machinists to keep these marvelous tools performing perfectly. This multiple head drill and tapper completes 30 microscopic operations as the plate goes round the machine. Screw threads made with taps, some as small as 1/100th of an inch. Gear making also introduces strange comparisons. Here are 100 newly made gears, yet see how they compare with the fingers of the girl who tends the machine. This room houses a battery of the renowned Swiss micro lathes, automated to work with superhuman precision, making parts so tiny the operator can't see them. When he wants to check one, He holds up a fine net until he figures the machine has made a piece, and then he feels around to find it. There's the part, and now they're going to cut gear teeth on both ends of it. Then they polish those impossibly small gear teeth one by one. Can you see what this man is doing? Look closer. Now can you see? No, and he can't either. The part is so small that he works by touch and sound alone. And to make sure those gear teeth are exactly spaced, this gentleman uses an ultra-sensitive measuring device, each gear manipulated onto those two jaws. The tolerances are indicated by red needles. On the nose, 2/millionths of an inch. Here in a special room is the world's smallest assembly line, where they put together the little clutches that transmit power to the spring from the rotor of a self-winding watch. The pieces are so diminutive, the clearance is so infinitesimal that hands may not touch them. There are 6 components in this micro-sized metal sandwich. Between the 2 end wheels are 4 tiny parts which must move freely. A miniature press clamps the assembly together with exactly the right pressure. That large, clumsy object is a common pin. The small things are perfect small screws that hold a watch together, so tiny that this thimble holds 38,872 of them. The technique of highest precision watchmaking is learned through years of schooling in the Watchmakers Institute, followed by more years of factory training. By heritage and temperament, the people of this part of Switzerland are specially well adapted to be the world's finest watchmakers. Watchmaking is in their blood, blending the painstaking Germanic urge to precision with the French artistic flair. Now we see the first heartbeats of the most modern precision watch, the motor in place, the gear train positioned, with the pinions supported by jeweled bridges, and the balance wheel coming to life for the first time. And finally, to complete this handsome assembly, the self-winding device is installed. Winding your watch is as old-fashioned as cranking your car. A modern watch is wound automatically by the wearer's movements. In this most scientifically advanced automatic watch, the freely swinging rotor is mounted on one of the world's smallest ball bearings. This system maintains a constant power reserve in the mainspring, notably improving timekeeping accuracy. Now the watch takes on a more familiar form during the process of habillage or dressing. Most of the cost of a quality watch is in skilled labor. The materials cost less than 2% of the total value of this watch movement. Although some of the most precise machinery in the world is used to make its parts, a watch of this quality cannot be assembled on a production line. Each watch is built and adjusted individually by a skilled watchmaker. Now secure in its discreetly elegant waterproof case, the watch is ready for rigorous comparison to an electronic timing standard. Clamped to a microphone, each watch is tested in different positions. An ultra-precise oscillograph records the most minute deviation from absolute accuracy. The result is a timepiece that is 99.995% accurate. Few machines made by man are as accurate, as precise, as reliably trouble-free as a good Swiss watch. Every step in the making of a fine watch is checked and rechecked. These orbiting watches are being tested for the proper function and power reserve of the self-winding mechanism. Here, super waterproof watches are tested on a special machine which can create the pressure found more than 600 feet below sea level. In this factory, for every person who is actually engaged in production, there are 2 who check and test. There is no substitute for such exhaustive control to maintain the very highest standards of quality. Only when the engineers and craftsmen are satisfied that they have done their remarkable best is a watch of this character ready for shipment. In more than 130 countries throughout the world, the product of this extraordinary scientific care is known with favor as the most modern of watches. Sunday in the town of Grenchen. From the heights above the town, watchmakers who all week have worked with minute objects only inches away enjoy the handsome scenery with which Switzerland is so richly endowed. Others who all week handle tiny parts delight in the rough and tumble of the game the Swiss call football. The factory is quiet, deserted, the hum of machines silenced till tomorrow. Only a few minutes from the heart of Grenchen are the tranquil beauties of the Jura Mountains, today full of watchmakers on excursions. Yet even on Sunday, Jakob Kuntz comes to the plant. Jakob Kuntz has come to look at his babies. He's checking on his observatory chronometers, the most precise kind of watch that can be made. This takes training, patience, experience, dedication. It also requires an uncanny gift. Not more than 20 men in all the world can regulate a watch to the incredible accuracy that qualifies it for an observatory chronometer certificate. It is significant that every other company that competes for observatory awards makes a special kind of watch for the tests. Eterna is the only company that uses standard production watch movements that win observatory awards for accuracy. Regulated with a master's touch, these watches are to be entered for the rigid tests at the Neuchâtel Observatory. Jakob Kuntz trusts nobody but himself to take his babies to the observatory. He'll carry them on his lap all the way to Neuchâtel, and the company driver has been instructed to drive with extra care. Passing through one of the charming little towns along the way, he's reminded of the length and depth of timekeeping tradition that make possible the perfection of the work he does today. Here at the State Observatory is an electronic clock, so precise that it is one of the 3 basic time standards of the world. In these thermostatically controlled chambers are kept the watches which are competing for certification as observatory chronometers. A photoelectric timing microscope, designed to eliminate personal error in observation, is used to check each watch every day for 45 days. Through the microscope, the second hand approaches the white mark. At the eclipse, an electronic timer, controlled by the ultra-precise standard clock, measures the deviation from perfection to the 1,000th of a second. The watches are tested in different positions and at various temperatures. A printed record is made of the performance of each watch. The timepiece that merits the designation observatory chronometer may justly be considered a masterpiece of scientific watchmaking art. Care, testing, advanced techniques are quality features you cannot see, but there are things you can see. Ask your jeweler to open the back of any watch you're thinking of buying. Now look at it. A good watch is made from best quality metal, polished to a fine silken finish. At the points where friction would be destructive to accuracy, jewels are provided to protect the movement from wear. This is a costly construction. There is no cheap way to make a good watch. Features like anti-magnetic, shockproof, even waterproof mean little unless they protect a good movement. Your jeweler, who is intimately acquainted with the pedigrees of the watches he sells, is your best source of advice and counsel on the selection of a high-quality modern watch to meet your individual needs. You may choose a watch to be the token of your enduring love, the perfect, ever-present reminder of a time precious to you both. Or you may select it to travel with you literally to the ends of the earth, to be a dependable companion wherever you may go. You can expect it to take the punishment of the most rugged jobs men do. Your well-chosen watch is as at home in the steaming tropics as in the most elegant surroundings. It can be your most beautiful as it is your most useful fashion accessory. It has been said that a good watch is one of the highest expressions of the mechanical and artistic achievements of civilization. Impeccable good taste is cosmopolitan. at a remote medical station in Panama, or in the boardroom of a great corporation, a distinguished timepiece has long been the traditional symbol to honor accomplishment and to signify esteem. Whoever you are, wherever you may live, the knowledge that you possess the best has a special satisfaction. And that this technically most advanced watch has been proven out in the extremes of environment to which man's activity is subjected is a further source of satisfaction. You know that from the burning deserts of the East to the chill of mountain ski fields, the tiny scientific masterpiece that you wear will adapt as well as you do yourself. Your way of life may require a watch of exceptional accuracy and durability, or you may simply want to own the best. Your fine timepiece, chosen with care, will be your most intimate and trustworthy possession, serving you loyally wherever you may go. Its name known and respected for extraordinary accuracy and reliability in more than 130 countries throughout the world. This, then, is the modern watch, the automatic watch, a true symbol of man's continued scientific advancement, his progress in the direction of an eternal goal, the precision of the stars.